Hello, everybody, and welcome back into another post-game edition of the Hockey Writers show here. We're doing our post-game shows after every game, and today we are doing our start of the Carolina Hurricanes and New York Rangers series. So joined in by Kyle Knopp, my co-host on the THW podcast, and to be starting YouTube show on Mondays. So thanks, Kyle, for coming on, and we'll react to this game here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Great start to this series. Got another overtime game right off the bat in a series. We had one last night. So exciting second round already. So bring it on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 2-1 score, not a high scoring game. It was 1-0 and right into that third period until like 4 minutes left, 1-0. Then came back, Sebastian Aho tied the game, and then went to overtime 3 minutes in. Ian Cole, defenseman, who doesn't score very much. He had 2 goals all season, just like Josh Manson last night with the Colorado Avalanche, not scoring much. But Ian Cole gets the game winner by just throwing it on the net, deflects off someone, and boom, you've got the game winner. So that's what usually happens in this. Just get it on goal, and you never know what happens. So, Kyle, what's your impressions of the game, what you saw, and any standout performances that you saw in this game?
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot. You almost could break this down into 2 different games. You had what was the initial game in which the Rangers kind of dominated, and that was the first 2 periods, and they were smothering. You know, they played a very defensive style game. They shut everything down. They smothered everything through the neutral zone and in the offensive zone. I believe the Hurricanes had 14 shots through the first 2 periods and then ended the game with 26 shots. So that's 12 alone in the third period. And I want to say the Rangers got outshot or had 24 going into the third period and ended up with 28. Yeah. So, and that's, not counting overtime, but still. So I think the way that the Hurricanes came out of that third period and started to set the tone, and I think we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but that really kind of turned the tide of this game. But I think in terms of standout players, it was definitely Shesterkin today. Yeah. He made quite a few huge saves even before they really went on that tear in the third period. The Hurricanes could have easily been up, 2-1, 3-1 midway through that second, or even late in that second, early in that third. So I would say I'd give my standout player to Shesterkin today. But man, what a crazy game, and what a eventful game.
Yeah, well, it was really slow. The Rangers had a really good defensive structure in that first 2 periods. I mean, it looked like the Hurricanes were slow. They didn't look like themselves, and they thrive on the transition game, like we said in the preview this morning. And and that's just how they do it. And that they had a few really good chances, look more like the Hurricanes in the third period. But what type of looking at the transition? The turning point, the TSN turning point, like, they used to do that on TSN. And in the game, what do you think at that point? When did that happen?
I would have to say right from the drop of the puck in the third period. And that might even be contributed to the line change up that Rod Brendamore did. He came out, he moved Neckis back and moved up Max Domi onto that second line, I believe it was. And you could see right off that opening faceoff, it was one back to Domi, chipped it deep, and they put the relentless forecheck on. They didn't win that puck battle at that time, but they came out and set the tone of that third period. So I'm going to have to give this one to the coaching staff, making those adjustments mid-game, and then coming out and getting the team ready to play in that third period. Because boy, was that a absolutely night and day performance by the Carolina Hurricanes from that first 2 periods to that third.
Yeah, I mean, the highlight of the game, I think there's 2 sides of it. And the Rangers had their kid line was flying tonight, I think.
They look great. And we talked about that this morning, that they needed to be showing up this, and they look fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they can keep going in the next games, I think they can be a difference. And Seth Jarvis, I mean, we talked about Jarvis on the show too, and he comes to play every night. And
what a pass.
He sure was. What a pass he made on that Aho goal. And yeah, he is a really good player, and he's so young. too.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big highlight for me in the game too, was Jarvis.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they've got, I mean, we could tell why a lot of fans in Carolina love that guy. So he's fun to watch. Undersized, but definitely has a ton of skill and he knows how to use it. So let's look into the next game here and see what key things are going to that both teams have to do to kind of get going. The Rangers, they had a 1-0 lead up to that 3-minute mark or 4-minute mark and looked to be home free. It looked like Shesterkin was going to get a shutout. The Hurricanes only shut out once all year. So it was going to be a surprise if they were going to get shut out. What do you think going into the next game need to be the keys for both teams here?
Well, we talked about it this morning in that show, and one of those takeaways was the Rangers really need to steal a game at PNC Arena. The first round between Boston and Carolina went to the home team every time. You can't rely on that, especially as the lower seed in a series, because you only have 3 home games versus the 4 on the road. So you have to steal at least 1 on the road. This looked to be that game. This looked to be the game that Shesterkin came out and set the tone for the rest of the series. It's just because they lost doesn't mean that's still not the case. So, I see this being a battle moving forward. It's going to be very much the same. The Rangers need to really work on their puck possession. So they got out face off 59 to 41%. So essentially 60 to 40, they're losing the draw. So they need to tighten that up a little bit better. And then their giveaways, they did only give up the puck 10 times. But on the other side of that, the Hurricanes, they gave it up almost 20 times. They had 19 giveaways. And with a team that can quickly counterattack in transition like the Rangers, you can't give them that many opportunities. So I think the Rangers need to work on that puck possession, winning those faceoffs and controlling the puck from the start. Because once they set up their presence in the offensive zone, they're a lot harder to compete with than just in a transition game. And I think the Hurricanes need to tighten up their game, especially in the defensive zone, work on not giving up the puck, turning it over so much. There are quite a few times. There's, I think, 1 or 2 times Rana turned over the puck and it could have easily been a 2 or 3-0 game, in that second or third period before they got that goal to tie it. So Hurricanes need to tighten up on their turnovers. Rangers need to work on their puck possession.
Yeah, both great points. Look like the Hurricanes just not going to get any luck. Niederreiter hits the post there, and then it looked like all of a sudden the Rangers Kako was going to make it 2-0, missed the net. So it could have gone either way in this game. So I think both teams need to do things better. The Hurricanes had barely any shots going into the third. And then they poured it on the third, and then the Rangers had no shots in the third until halfway through the period. So
it was late.
Yeah. So it's going to be, I think both teams need to work on parts of their games. Kind of was night and day it was 2 different games, like you said, the first 2 periods compared to the third. So Hurricanes get that game winner and in OT, and then they keep their home record streak alive because they haven't lost at home yet. So we'll see how the rest of the series goes, but that's our prediction who's going to win the next game before we wrap up here. Who do you think is going to pull out the next one here?
That's a great question. I think, like you said, it really was a coin flip today, and I think you're going to get a lot of that in the next game, which would be Friday. Yes, because today's only Wednesday. So, I got to give it to that home team. Carolina was just you could tell in that third period, like we said, it was 2 different games, but when they came out in that third period and they started buzzing, you could feel it. You could feel it through the television. You could feel it just emanating and about to just bubble over the top. And it really did. So I think they're going to come out. I think Rod Brendamore is going to have them, just prove to them in video tomorrow. Like if you come out and play that way in the third period, right from the opening drop, this team's not going to be able to catch up with you. So I'm going to give it to Carolina, but I think if New York can keep this a 1-goal game again, they have a chance at stealing one on the road.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Hurricanes are probably they're going to build off this for sure, because they definitely got their game going. They know they can beat the Rangers now. And being shut out by Shesterkin, that wouldn't have been good because, Shesterkin gets that confidence and he can, we can do in the regular season. So we'll see what happens, but thanks, Kyle, for coming on and do the post game. And we will see everyone on the next one. Battle of Alberta is going on right now. So we'll see you after that one.